stream for the Rookie Racing Championship. We are here for the pre-season test tonight before the season gets underway at Austria, Spielberg to be exact. We've got a short qualifying coming up, followed by a half-distance race, just to get the guys into the groove of getting underway with racing. So this should be a good one. We've got, I think it's an 11 car grid tonight, so should be okay racing. Not quite a full grid, but still hopefully should be plenty of battles out on track. We're just loading in, so we'll be getting going very shortly as the game loads in. Spielberg, not the longest track on the F1 calendar, one of the shorter ones. Should be expecting about a minute 10, minute 20 lap time. And here we are in the pit lane, waiting for the first guys to emerge out the pits. The timer has started, the green light is on at the end of the pit lane, and we're about to get started for this pre-season race. We've got quite a few drivers tonight. We've got King Will, who is in the Alpha. We've got Dorek 311, who's in the Renault. Justin, who's the first to go out the pit, in the Haas. We'll follow him to start off with, as he emerges from the pit lane. Almost spins it coming out the pit lane, to be honest. And we've got the two Mercedes following behind him as well, in Purple Haze, and Naz following behind them. We've got Cohen in the other Haas, and also WLK, and we've also got Dor in the Renault as well, just beginning to warm up his tyres. But due to the fact that Justin will be leading us round for the first lap, we'll stick on him, our owner of our Rookie Racing Championship, or our community. We do also have a Discord going on, so if you guys would want to get involved in any of the races, or want to come and race for yourself, we run on the PS4 platform. And I believe in the description there should be a Discord link, so you can come and check out. If not, I'll make sure I edit it before the first race of the season. As Justin sets off with his live, Purple Haze and Naz following closely behind in the two Mercs. Down into turn 3 for the first time. Very tight hairpin on the entry, turn 3. You've got to get the car positioned on the left hand side of the road, and then it's almost like a 360 degree turn of the wheel just to get the car turned in. So Justin going down the back section now. Coming down the hill, sweeping left-hander with two apexes, and then a exit out to the right and onto the back straight. Moving down towards the second to last corner. That Mercedes behind of him, of Purple Haze, is getting a bit too close for comfort for Justin. Justin coming across the line. It's a 1:05.5 for Justin to start off with. Oh, and we've got loads of times Cohen in. His teammate Cohen actually goes fastest so far with a 1:05 dead, and we've just had Doak go even faster with a 1:04.6. And there's somebody in the wall at turn 1. I'm not sure who that is. It is WLK, who has spun the Red Bull. He did actually set fastest lap before Cohen, Ifella and Dor came round. There's somebody off at turn in the final sector. We've got a yellow flag there. I'm not sure who that is. One of the Williamses. I think it's Mr. Meek. It is. He's got back going. Must have had a spin in the final corner. It's very easy to do round here, is to spin the car, especially with the conditions. Track temperature is quite cold today. We've got some comments coming in already. I will quickly try and find it so I can have a look at what's been put on. As Naz and Doik, after setting their first laps of the session, into the pit lane. We've also just had some news that WLK was rear-ended into turn 1, which is very interesting. I mean, there were a couple of guys around him following quite closely behind. That'll be interesting come the back end of the session. Oles going P2, 104.8, about 2 tenths off the pace of Doek's time. Not a bad time in the racing point. So we've got a couple of guys setting up for a lap. Justin setting up. Oh, they're not setting up for the lap, they're going into the pits, so we're getting out of the way. Meanwhile, WLK is on his flyer. Going down the back straight towards the second to last corner. Through the last corner now. I'm not sure why the camera angle does that on the last corner. Across the line he goes, and he goes fastest. 104.541 for WLK. That is a brilliant lap, is that. About just under a tenth or so quicker than Doek's time. So currently in the qualifying session with just over 12 minutes to go, we've got WLK in first, Doek in second, who's currently in the pit lane. I think he's actually just gone into the pits. Cohen in P3, who is currently on another flyer, so we'll keep an eye on him to see how that progresses. Again, not far off the pace, just over a tenth off the pace of WLK, so it is possible that he could get into this race, or potentially get pole if he can make up a couple of tenths. Oh, and he's backed out the lap, he's into the pit lane. So, meanwhile, P4, Mr. Meeks on his flyer. Coming through the middle sector currently. This is a part of the track where you have to be on it. You've got to brake as little as you can and just try and throw the car in as much as you can as well. Mr. Meeks coming down the back section now into the second to last corner. We're riding on board with him through the second to last and the last corner. What time is it going to be for Mr. Meek? Here he comes across the line, and it's P2, 104.4 for him. And speaking of which, Toby Tiger in the other Alfa Romeo, who's just has to fly past his teammate, has done a 103.9, which is very, very quick round here. It's an excellent lap time, is that. And that gives him a nice buffer over Mr. Meek of about 4 or 5 tenths. So this could get very interesting. And Mr. Meek, oh, where's he going? He's actually pulling off to the side of the road. I'm not sure what was happening there. We'll keep an eye on King though. Oh no, he's slowing down, he's backed out of it. WOK's in the pit lane. Doek, who was on pole earlier, is out for his second flying lap. Going up the hill towards turn 3, hard on the brakes, swinging the car in. Nice and steady as well. For the guys watching the stream, if you could just give a thumbs up or just say we can hear you in the comments section, that'll be lovely. I think I've got all my mic settings right, but it'd just be appreciated if all the audio's nice and clear. As Doek comes through the middle sector, again, like I said earlier, a sector where you've got to be flat out for most of the lap. Into the second to last corner, hard on the brakes and then quickly back on the power. Coming around the final corner, across the line, P2, 104.007. Not far off the 103s is Doek either, as he almost collects an AlphaTauri coming out the pit lane there. The AlphaTauri, I'm not sure who that is, I believe. I believe it was A Cloud or Il Fotter. It was Il Cloud actually, because it says he's on his outlap, I believe. I'll just double check. It was him, yep, he's on his outlap. Meanwhile, we'll skip over to his teammate, Al Fotter, in the other AlphaTauri. Done a 105.047 so far, so a little bit off the pace by about a second or so. One of the Hatters gets out the way for him, nice and tightly. There's going to be a bit of contact there for a second, but they managed to avoid each other. Nice driving. He comes across the line and goes P8 with a 104.9. So he's broken into the 104s. Purple Haze, meanwhile, snatches P8 off him by doing a 104.7. So it seems to be quite congested so far. A lot of close times in this qualifying session. We'll have a scoot up to Oles in the racing points. See how he's getting on, out for his second. It might be even his third run actually. As we've got a yellow flag in the middle sector. The car going slow. Looks like one of the... not sure what that was actually. Looks like one of the Hatters or the AlphaTauris. So potentially just letting cars through. Hence the yellow flags for a slow moving car. Noles keeping it nice and flat through the middle sector. Potentially could have broken track limits on that exit there. Looked like he crossed the white line to me from my camera angle. And he clearly did, because he dived into the pit lane. So, meanwhile, King Will's just coming out the pits. In the Alfa Romeo, and meanwhile I've just noticed at the top of the screen WLK has gone even faster. He's done a 103.893, so just about half a tenth separating him and Toby Tiger. It's like WLK is just setting himself up for a flyer. I think Toby is as well. I think WLK might be pitting, yes he is, but Toby Tiger isn't. He's going for another run, so we'll keep an eye on him as he comes around the last corner to start his next lap. The RS flap open up towards turn 1. This could be interesting in the race, this turn 1. It's quite a tight corner. There is a lot of runoff, so if there is a bit of contact in the middle, you can go around the outside. But with it being so narrow and track limits round Austria or round Spielberg racetrack being quite tight, I can imagine a few penalties might be thrown out if anybody goes wide there. So it'll be interesting to see if Toby can improve. He needs to get under a tenth or so, I would think, and it must be a bad lap because it looks like he's backed out to me. Like he's going a bit slower than... yeah, he's definitely backed out. He's not taken that corner very aggressively. I think we'll expect a dive into the pits in a second. Oh no, he's still going. It's not a dive into the pits. We'll see what he can do then. Just looked a bit slow through that middle sector. I don't think it's going to be an improvement, and it isn't. He stays P2, so interesting. Doek's still sat in the pits on his 104. He's clearly happy with that so far. And meanwhile, King Will, Toby's teammate, goes P1 with a 103.5. That is a very quick lap. About 2 or 3 tenths quicker than WLK, and we've also got a yellow flag in turn 1. I'm not sure who that is. Trying to find who it is. Like to me, one of the Mercedes of some description. Potentially that Williams as well, because that Williams seems to be going a bit slowly. King Will's currently on pole, letting traffic go through. Very good to see. Toby's on another flying lap. What's it going to be this time? And he takes pole, 103.526. So less than half a tenth separating the two Alpha boys. Well, I didn't expect that at the start of this qualifying session. So with just under 4 minutes to go, the two Alfa Romeos are separating each other by half a tenth, and they currently have a front row lockout. I wonder how long or if it'll last. So Doek in the Renault is currently on an outlap. We'll see if he can set himself up and go for a flyer this time round. It looks like he is, so we'll stay on board with him as he comes out the last corner. Down the main straight, DRS flap open, up into turn 1. Heavy braking between. On this track I would normally brake just after the 100, maybe just before the 50 board, sort of in that region. Heavy on the brakes and getting the car turned in. Up to turn 3, another heavy braking zone. You can see the brake discs on that Renault very, very hot. Tells how much braking this track requires. As it comes down into turn 4. Nicely through there. And down through the middle sector. Again, like I said earlier, very fast, very sweeping. You've got to be on the limit all the time to get as much power through that section from the car. He comes out of the second to last corner. Onto the main straight. Across the line, what's the lap time going to be? It's no improvement is the answer. So that's a shame for him. So with 2 minutes to go, there are a couple of guys still out on track. Toby Tiger and King Will seem to be just sat in the pits at the minute. Would be the same with them, to be honest, being sat in the pits, especially with times like that. They've almost got half a second, even a full second to the rest of the field in some areas. So have a look at Mr. Meek in the Williams, who's coming around the last corner. See what time he can do. Comes across the line. No improvement on his 1:04.1 that he's already done. Now, Dorwick, as I said earlier, he did do a lap, and it seems like he's doing a back-to-back flyer. So around the last corner he comes. Onto the main straight, DRS open. Is it an improvement this time? It is, up to P3, 1:03.7. So improvement of about 2 or 3 tenths there for Dorwick. If I double check, yes it was, because he was on 1:04. So yeah, about 2 to 3 tenths improved there. Not bad. Not bad from him in the Renault. WLK's back out on track, but it's caught some traffic in the form of the Mercedes. Oh, that's getting sketchy through there. Both drivers, I think it's Purple Haze, I think, who's on an outlap. It is indeed. I mean, realistically, they should be WLK isn't on an outlap, so technically Purple Haze should be letting him go there. I wonder if the stewards will have a look at that one after the race. As both drivers settle for a lap. Now is WLK trying to get some draft down the straight. This could end in tears into turn 1. Hard on the brakes. Make it through cleanly. He's definitely trying to get draft on him. Look at that. It's almost going to be a racing manoeuvre as they come up the hill. WLK to the right of Purple Haze, up the inside, and overshoots the corner massively. They both overshoot the corner, almost make contact. I think that's potentially their session over, because I've got a funny feeling they would have got track limits for that. For that intervention, Justin's backed out of his lap. He's into the pit lane. EK Cloud looks like he's going quite suspiciously slow. Now King Will is across the line trying to improve on his time, and it isn't. But to me, if WLK doesn't improve, which to me I don't think he will, because he got forced off the track, is he going to improve, or is it going to be a front row lockout for the Alfa Romeos across the line? The answer is no, and it's a front row lockout for the Alfa Romeo team. That's a great result for Alfa Romeo there. Front row lockout for this pre-season race. Very well done to Toby Tiger and King Will. Very, very good driving from the two boys. And there's a confirmation of the results. In fact, it will not be a front row lockout for Alfa because King Will has received a 5-place grid penalty. I've got a funny feeling that's either speeding in the pit lane or track limits. And they are the results. So Toby Tiger on pole, Doek would be second, WOK third, Mr. Meek fourth, Ole fifth, King Wills will be sixth, Purple Haze seventh, iFotter eighth, Justin will be ninth, EK Cloud will be 10th, Naz will be 11th, and Cohen is at the back of the grid in P12 after being disqualified. I'm not sure what that was for either. It didn't ping up on my MFD, so interesting to see what them penalties were for. My guess for the 5-second penalty for the Alpha would be probably speeding in the pit lane or multiple track limit breaks. Well, this is going to be an interesting race. Quite a wide open grid. Wasn't a lot between times there either, so, and especially with King Will's coming from the back of the, well, from mid-pack when he should have qualified P2, will be interesting to watch, to say the least. So the session is about to get underway. Waiting for all the players to ready up. And we will have a formation lap to kick it off. So Toby Tiger leads them off on the formation lap to get the tyres warmed up, making sure all brake temperatures are up to speed, are up to good. Make sure all tyre temperatures are up to good. And leads them up down the hill. And Naz has been disqualified from the formation lap for some reason, which is interesting to say the least. That's happened. It'll be a 36 lap race, this one, so a bit of strategy involved. If I'm being honest, well, there you go. I was just going to go on about pit strategy. You could either do the 1 stop or the 2 stops. So softs to hards or softs to mediums. I mean, this could be interesting to say the least. See what strategy these go. If I'm being honest, I could probably see most people going for the 1 stop, trying to get the hards to the end of the race. I think that would be the much more sensible option, on the basis of that you won't lose time having to make another pit stop, but at the same time you'll be on quicker tyres on the 2 stops. So interesting to say the least. There's a couple of guys that have been reset due to contact on the formation lap. So they come round to the grid. Toby Tiger, sorry, and Doek moving into their grid positions on the front row as the rest of the grid comes around to line up. And it will be an interesting race. See how all the drivers get on. Are we waiting for anybody to come round? Yes, we're waiting for one more to come round. The Ferrari of Please Trey, who didn't take part in the qualifying session. Late arrival to the party. Thinking for a second the game had glitched, but seemed to be all good. He's lined up in his grid place. The grid will reset, which it has. And we go on to 5 red lights in the Austria pre-season race. Lights out and away we go. Good start from Toby Tiger at the front. Zorek gets away nicely. 2 of the Alpha Tauris in the midfield have bogged down as they swing into turn 1. Are they all going to get round cleanly? Pretty much. Couple of them having one wide, and there's an Alpha Tauri off in the background. It's iFotter who's spun in the background. In fact, iFotter has gone off and Mr. Meek has also spun. I think iFotter went far into the barriers. They go into turn 2. What the Hasses collide each other. Cohen spun round by Justin, and the 2 teammates take each other out in turn 3. The sector 2 yellow flag. There's chaos everywhere. No safety car deployed though. We continue racing. Police Trey is chasing down WOK in the Red Bull. Toby Tiger still maintaining his P1 and has actually pulled just under a second gap from Doek behind already. This could be an interesting race, and there's been a crash in the midfield. I think EK has gone round the as he's got back going again. And out of the last corner, Purple Haze and WK are battling for position. WK slots past Purple Haze, doesn't want to battle that one into T1. They come round to complete lap 1. And up the hill they go for the second time. And the orders doing the glitch again. And who shot off? Purple Haze has shot off. Outbraked himself. The grid swaps have now redone. So Purple Haze has lost at P4 and dropped down to P6 in that incident. As he dives on the inside, oh, there's contact! Taking each other out. WLK has gone and potentially died. No, he's got back going. Purple Haze running straight into the back of him. I would say the stewards are going to have to take a look at that one as he battles Justin back down the hill. Justin trying to get past. A little bit of argy-bargy going on. Oh, more contact and WK's off. And there's a big crash at the back. Absolutely monumental crash. Somehow they both keep going. Purple Haze drops down the order, but it looked like WLK swung across deliberately there to me. I think there'll be discussions in the stewards room after the race, because I could understand WLK's frustration in trying to fight the move back, but to go and force somebody else off the track like that is wrong in my opinion. I don't think that should be allowed whatsoever. It's clean racing. That's just an opinion. Anyway, rant over. Carry on with the race. There's a bit of a battle for P2 going on as Doek is being chased down by King Will. King Will obviously qualified P2, but started from P6 with a 5-place grid penalty. It's around the second to last corner to go. Both go a little bit wide. King Will goes very wide out the last corner. Somehow manages to hold on. As Toby Tiger does the fastest lap of the race on 106.795 to begin the session. And King Will now with it continuing, and now got the DRS up the hill. There's been a crash at the back. EK Cloud's gone round again, I think, and side by side out the hairpin. I completely missed that. King Will definitely got a DRS run. He's got a DRS run down to turn 4 as well. Will Doek have a look? No, he doesn't. Thinks better of it. Nice driving. Well, that means the Alphas are currently locked out again, and a lot of steam or smoke coming out the back of the cars on this cold day in Austria. Come round the second class corner, using as much track as possible. Absolutely full pelt in it. We'll move down to the back. I believe there's a battle going on, and I think there's been a crash. Mr. Meat's gone off and had an accident. They need to hold together, and Kill King Will makes a mistake. Oh, there's a big crash at the back. Police Trey is off the track. He's reset himself. But there's crashes all over the place. Nazpan, I think, did spin it and has got it back going. That's controversial because King Will has now dropped back to P4 from P3 where he was. That promotes Oles in the Racing Point up into P3. Oles comes around the second last corner, flat out as he can in that Racing Point. And there's a crash at the back again. I think it's Naz. Naz is going slowly. Potentially some contact there. Gets it back going. On who's that? Mr. Meakin. Mr. Meakin. Cloud has collided. Or had collided. Cloud actually just loses a position to iFotter, but then gets it straight back into turn one. But Mr. Meek. Oh, and who's that? iFotter's off onto the grass. Yellow in sector one. Mr. Meek, who just spun it, is now going to have an attack up the hill. Is he going to outbrake? No, slots in behind him. Nice driving. And Oles has actually lost the position to King Will in the meantime, which was expected. King Will, I would say, well, based on qualifying pace, is the faster driver. And there's another crash again at the back. I think it's Mr. Meek again. It is. He's into the wall. He's trying to get it back on the racetrack. Again, surprised the safety car hasn't been brought out for that. But Toby Tiger making the most of all the chaos that's going on behind him and has now pulled a 3-point-second gap to Doek in second place. Very good incident. There's a bit of battling going on. WOK round the outside of Oles. Is he going to get the move done? Out of turn 4 he is. Great move. Great move to commit round the outside like that. And we've got a slow Williams with Mr. Meek coming round to be lapped. Yellow flags going up everywhere because of that. Toby Tiger again making the advantage of all the chaos behind him. Now pulls a 4.0 second gap to him. And Doek still behind in that 4-second gap. King Will again even further behind, and 5-second gap to Doek and a 9-second gap to his teammate Toby Tiger at the minute. WOK, after some controversy during the first laps of the race, moves himself up to P4. Meanwhile, Oles, I didn't even notice, is right up with him again. WOK just made that great move around the outside in turn 4 a couple of laps earlier. This is the closest battle on track so far at the minute, so keep an eye on these two boys, see how they do. Oles, not the last corner, arguably gets the better run. WOK that goes very wide there, and Oles has got DRS. He's going to have a go on the outside into turn 1, late on the brakes. He still held it, had to go a little bit wide, but didn't get DRS up the hill as he was in front on circuit before the DRS detection. He'll get it in the third DRS section though. Come out this corner, flap opens up. Is there going to be a manoeuvre? Meanwhile, eCloud has been issued a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Nothing really else happening on track so far, so we'll go back to Oles and WOK. I did see just a yellow flag pop up in the top left of my screen, not sure what that was for. Now is Oles going to have the run this time? WOK going right to the pit wall down the main straight, that's risky. Trying to not Oles have the clean air. Opens the DRS flap this time. He's going to go around the outside up the hill. He's being squeezed onto the grass. Late on the brakes as he dares. WOK, I think, has gone straight on. He has gone wide. And that means Oles is still alongside him, but WOK has got DRS. And I think Pleased has had an accident. He has, he's dropped down, a lot of yellow flags there. We'll keep an eye on this battle for fourth still. Oles quickly catching up. As we come down into the second to last corner. Still racing very, very hard. Again, WOK going to the middle of the track, trying to give Oles dirty air. More DRS going up the hill though, and there's no pit wall down here. Oles gets DRS. Is he going to have a look on the inside? Has a peep, but decides better of it and sticks behind. But he'll get DRS again down towards turn 4. Again in dirty air. Hard on the brakes and can't do anything this time. And it'll be WOK will live to fight another day. Again, this is still the closest battle out on track. Now Oles, you think he's going to be within range this time. And again, WOK goes very, very wide towards the pit wall. And meanwhile, we've got some pit stops. King Will's in the pits, making his stop. He drops down to P6, but with pit stop still to go, he should make that up pretty quickly. Comes out just behind the blue flagged Williams. Should get past with him with ease, and does so. Meanwhile, Cohen in the hats has joined onto the back of this battle for P3 now. It was for P4, but due to King Will pitting, it's now a battle for P3, and it's a 3-car train through the middle sector as it stands. WOK just getting a chance to stretch his legs, and we've got 2 pitties, so we've got Toby Tiger making his pit stop. Good to see that Alpha are not trying to go for the double stack and make a mess of it. And WOK is actually into the pits. So that shakes up the order again. Toby Tiger comes out P1. Doek is losing a lot of positions on re-emerging P5. But what a shaken this race up is that he's now a 3-way scrap over first place. For podium positions, Toby Tiger's only a second up the road from Oles, and Cohen is only 7/10 behind Oles and only just under 2 seconds down the road from Toby Tiger. So this could be an interesting end to this race, to say the least. In fact, Toby Tiger is already pulling quite a large gap, and it looks like Oles is pitting this lap. He goes the other side of the white line, heads for the pit lane. Don't believe Cohen has entered the pit yet, so... And the answer to that is no, he hasn't, so... Still to pit is Cohen. So once Cohen pits and gets out of the way, he will leave. As long as there's no mistakes happen. Toby Tiger, King Will and Dowick in the top 3. Due to them, I've already made pit stops. Cohen still to pit. For some reason, I don't think VFL's made a stop yet. By the looks of things. No, he hasn't. His medium tyres are 13 laps old, so he started on the mediums and is still to make a pit stop. We've got a yellow in set 2 and 3. That could be interesting with the leaders coming through. And it's actually on the exit of the middle sector. It's obviously got going. Cohen now takes the opportunity to make his pit stop. He gets away cleanly. Which means the 2 Alfa Romeos are back where they started. With being stopped between each other. And oh, there's a crash in the back! VFL was in the wall. I've got a funny feeling that was contact with WLK coming up the hill, because they were extremely close. There were less than a tenth between them on the gap. It would have meant they've been alongside each other. That allows Oles through to have a go at WLK himself, but VFL's probably not that fussed about that due to the fact that he is still not pitted yet, potentially going for a one-stop strategy. See what tyres. So WOK and Oles have gone on to mediums, so my gut instinct there is that they are trying to do a 2-stop race, and Mr. Meek is on another set of softs but has now just pitted, so I think he'll be making a second stop and going to the end of the race on them tyres. As meanwhile, coming up the hill, Oles and WOK, it gets a bit sketchy. Remember, this is for position now because these 2 boys have made pit stops. Oles comes over the back section at the top of the hill, down to turn 4. Half a second between these guys. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. That could be interesting. Can't see where it is as of yet. Oh, one of the Alpha Tauris was going a bit slow. Ah, it'll be Mr. Meek. It looks like he just spun it coming out of pit lane, so just gonna light his rear tyres up. Meanwhile, we'll go back to the battle for 4th because it is still tight. WOK going right to that wall again, coming back up the hill. He does not want Oles to get in his grasp. There's no pit wall, like I say, for the next 2 straights, this being one of them. Oles late on the brakes. Ooh, probably overcooks it a little bit, didn't quite get the car tucked into the apex. Oles comes over the back of the back section of the hill, down into turn 4. Oh, he overshoots it, touches the grass, just about holds it. Nice driving. Did quite well not to spin the rear tyres, to be honest. We're currently lap 18 out of 36, so we are halfway through this race now, and there's been some controversial parts which potentially the stewards, I think, will definitely have a look at, to say the least. I've even got an even closer battle on track As Ifotter just goes past Naz again for position all over P12, and VFL Rock has just finally made his way into the pit lane. And Naz has finally backed out of that one by the looks of things. Ole's just about keeping his 1 second gap to keep himself in front. Meanwhile, Pleased is on to the back of Purple Haze. Got DRS down the third DRS straight here at Spielberg. Down the inside, bit of contact. Oh, they've taken each other out! They're both into the gravel. Now, are any of them cars going to get back going? It looks like they're both resetted. And that was another controversial incident, to say the least. It looked like Purple Haze just forced him, Pleased, to go to the outside, and Pleased did not want to back out of that move and ended up crashing, but they have got back going again. And Oles is still trying to keep within a second of WLK. He's doing quite a good job, to be fair, to try and keep him within that second so he gets DRS. But these boys, because they're not really battling as such, they're just increasing the gap over the rest of the field. Cohen was half a second behind, it's now increased to 5 seconds. So that just shows you, we've got a yellow flag in 1 and 2. Who that is, it's a Mercedes that was going slow. I think it's Naz. He has got back going though, so we'll leave that for now. Meanwhile, Oles and WLK are having a battle. Oles to the outside. Gonna try and get him up into the hairpin. WLK holds the position for now, but they're still battling. None of them are using DRS, they're just going for a straight racing battle. Oles to the outside. He's done very well to keep it on the track. They're still going to these two. Yellow flag in sector 3, that could be problems for when they get round there. They're not far. I think it's King Will that has had an accident. He's only just got back going, the sector's cleared. So that could play into the hands of these boys too. WLK still defending, still forcing Oles down to that pit wall if he wants slipstream. Oh, as you think, we can get DRS up this hill. He does. Goes to the outside again. And gets past this time with DRS. Good driving. But, oh, WLK's coming back into the hairpin. Good defensive driving. And WLK is going to have DRS down the back straight to pull away. Great racing from these two. Let's just forget about what went on earlier. This is great racing. Oh, they're still trying to close the gap. And still trying to find a way past WLK. To be fair to WLK though, he has parked his car in the right positions. Yes, there were some couple of controversial incidents early in the race. As Oles gets DRS again, is WLK going to force him down to the pit wall? No, he isn't. He's going to go for the dive up the inside. Very close again. And Oles is going to have DRS up this hill as well. Goes to the inside this time. And I think that gets the move done. Defends it. Covers it off. WLK's coming back at him though. Great racing. What a race. He's got DRS. He's going to have a comeback at him. WLK down the inside. I think he's got it. He has indeed. Great racing. But Oles is still there. Yes, he does go a bit wide through that corner and drops back a little bit. All the intervals of gaps have disappeared for some reason off my menu. Oles coming up the hill, braking heavy for turn 1. I think we get DRS up the hill. He might not quite be in range actually. Oh no, he is in range. The flap has opened. Hard on the brakes. Gonna end up becoming an absolute showdown. It's all over P4, believe it or not. Oles in the racing point against WLK in the Red Bull. Not really many other battles out on track at the minute. It's been these two that have been giving the show for most of the race. And Oles gets another good exit. Is he going to open the flap down the main straight? I've got a funny feeling he will. At the last corner. Both taking really tight lines. Pushing their cars to the absolute limit. And Oles on the outside. WLK has to brake so late just to even keep the position. But Oles is coming again. DRS, is he going to go to the inside? He goes for the inside. And slots past. WLK on the switchback. And he's going to have DRS down this one. As they go side by side. I think WLK's just about got it. A little bit of contact with the wing. Oles pushed wide. Nothing significant though. Oles is coming back. WLK gets a bad exit. Oles around the outside. Now, trying to hold it. Goes a little bit wide. Might have to concede the position for that one. And I think he did in the end. But he's coming back at it again. What great racing between these two. WLK goes very wide there. Surely that's going to be a track limit warning, you would think. Goes very narrow to that pit wall again. Really close racing between these guys. Really close. Oles with DRS down the inside again. Is he going to cover WLK off this time? Oh, there's a little bit of tap. There's a little bit of a love tap there. But I think Oles has just about held on. Unless WLK is going to have a go down into turn 4. Down the inside. Late on the brakes and gets it back again. What a great race between these two. Oles and WLK putting up a fight and a half. Meanwhile, there is now another battle on track. Oh, I do say that. Purple Haze was battling and has just spun it round on the exit of turn 3. I've got a funny feeling that might be commentator's curses, that, but he is going to have a battle with Please to get after, and in fact he backs out of it really, which is sensible to say the least of him. Here comes Oles again on WLK into T1. Opens that DRS flap and we'll have a go down into turn 3. From turn 2 they go up the hill. He goes to the outside this time. He's trying everything. He's going to try and do WLK on the switchback. Has a go. Didn't quite get the exit. And WLK somehow got DRS there. I'm not sure how that happened. DRS detection zones after the apex, so that just increases that gap a little bit more. It's been great racing. 9 laps to go in this race, and it's great racing. It really is. Forget about the start of the race. Forget about everything you saw. And just enjoy this battle. And there is another battle out on track actually. Pleased has got onto the back of the AlphaTauri of Cloud. Cloud and Purple Haze, who's ahead of him, is on a penalty. Pleased around the outside. The AlphaTauri will just hold on for now. I think the AlphaTauri's ghosted for some reason. I'm not really sure why. But another good battle out on track as well. Meanwhile, Oles is having another assault on WLK. Didn't quite get the car turned in there and gets the exit that he wanted, but hey ho. And all of this, Purple Haze has had a couple of mistakes, and this has become a three-way scrap over 9th place now. And there's yellow in sector 1. I'm not sure what that is. I'm assuming it's a turn 1 incident. Being cleared. And Pleased is on the outside of Cloud. Is he ever going to go around the outside of the AlphaTauri? He is, and gets the move done. Very good driving. Now Pleased has just got to defend from the AlphaTauri of Cloud and Purple Haze. And meanwhile, I'm missing it all. Oles and WLK are still going at it. I think there might have been a bit of contact there because they look very slow out of that hairpin. Out of turn 3, sorry. 7 laps to go. It's been a great race from all corners. And again, we've got 2 battles to keep an eye on. And meanwhile, King Wills is in the pits. Now that's interesting. Have his tyres gone? Because he was trying to do the 1-stop. And he's off again. Looks like he's gone onto a fresh set of softs. He has. So maybe the 1-stop didn't quite work for him. Worn his tyres out a bit too aggressively. And this is... it's just perfect timing because it's brought him into this Oles and WLK battle all over P3 now. Between the 3 of them, he's going to keep Wills around the outside. Contact! Goes around the outside of Oles. Contact with the back of the Red Bull. And he's got past them almost immediately. Great driving. Bit scrappy to say the least, but at least they're past each other. I wasn't expecting King Will to get past that quickly. And he's actually going to be the highest, if he keeps it together, he's actually going to be the highest finisher that's actually done a 2-stop race. The only other guy to have done it was Mr. Meek, but he did pit quite early on. And King Will is off in the distance. I think we're going to have to go back and look at the Oles WOK battle again. Because Oles is going to have DRS up this hill again. It's been a great race between these two. In the second half of the race anyway. Still racing as hard as they can go. Oles holding it there, may have had a look. I don't think he quite got the run out of the corner that he had done the previous times. Both on medium sets of tyres, so that could be interesting. And Toby Tiger is actually pitted. And has just come out in front of Dewek. 6/10 gap between these two over P1. There's a lapped AlphaTauri in the way, and the lapped AlphaTauri gets in the way. Dewek almost half spun it. Manages to keep it together. That was close again, and that just widens the gap for Toby Tiger. It's almost like a Sunday drive for him now to get to the end of the race. And Ole's down the inside of WLK. We've missed that again. He gets it back. But again, really close racing. And all this battling has allowed Cohen to catch onto the back of them in the Haas. This is going to be an interesting end to this race. 4 laps to go, and wow, still really good racing. But like I say, WOK and Ole keep on battling. Cohen is only just over 1.5 seconds down the road from these two. If these keep battling, that gap will close very, very quickly as Ole's round the outside, brakes as late as he can, but WLK brakes later and gets the corner. Oh, and I think there's been an accident. Police Trey is out of the race. VFL Rock in the meantime goes past Purple Haze, but Purple Haze is going to fight it back. There's contact between the two. Purple Haze half spins it, just about holds it. I would say that's an 8 racing instant, if I'm being honest. And Oles, I think, has finally got past WLK, but WLK is going to fight it back. Action all over the track. What a race. And I think Oles has finally, after laps and laps and laps of patience, has finally got back. WLK dive bombs a bit into the second to last corner. He'll get DRS out the straight. Just Cohen in the Haas has caught onto the back of this train very quickly. WLK will get DRS up the hill. You would think he's the quicker driver and will go past with minimal problems down the inside. Squeezes Oles out. Squeezes him out to as far the apex as possible. Contact. Oles gets forced off the track a little bit, and that's going to leave Oles vulnerable to Cohen. I've got a funny feeling Cohen is really going to struggle. He needs to try as hard as he can. Cohen, he's not in the quicker car by any means, but he needs to try as hard as he can to try and get past Oles. That'll be a great finish for the Haas. Speaking of which, he's just gone very wide, so I really hope I haven't given him the kiss of death. Meanwhile, Oles DRS again on WLK. 2 laps to go and it's still really tight. Oles a bit late deploying his DRS, but he's right on the back of WLK. Goes to the outside. Is he going to try the cutback? Has a think about it, but Cohen dive bombs Oles up the inside. Little bit of contact. They both have DRS off WLK. It's going to be a drag race down to turn 4. Cohen thinks better of it. Fair play. But then he's going to sort of gets the better exit a little bit. But tucks him behind for now. And this is all just kicked off just because WLK and Oles have been battling for so long. It's allowed Cohen to close up that gap. Less than a second separating these guys. And they're all fighting over one bit of road. EK Cloud and Purple Haze are on penalties. Everybody else has managed to stay penalty free so far. Racing is hard. Oles gets DRS. Going to the outside. WLK forces Oles onto the grass. And oh no, Oles has half spun it. I'm not sure if he run into the back of WLK there or not. But that's allowed Cohen to inherit 5th place. And it's a battle between the Haas and the Red Bull now. Over the over 4th position. Oles, I would think, being quicker than Cohen, will catch onto the back of this train pretty quickly. It's now Cohen's turn to try and defeat WLK. In fact, it's the last lap of the race. Well, it is the last lap of the race for Toby Tiger. He's just gone on to it. So these boys have got... Cohen's got one more lap to try and find his way past WLK. He gets the DRS. He goes to the outside. WLK not giving him any aero. Cohen goes a bit wide, but gets a decent exit. But look who's coming up. Oles gets an even better exit. He might even get the two of them up here. Oh my goodness me, what great racing. Has to think better of it. Cohen down the inside. Great move from him into the hairpin at turn 3. And Cohen inherits 4th place. And in the meanwhile, Toby Tiger takes the Austria Grand Prix pre-season race win. Doek comes across the line in the Renault to take 2nd place. King Will take third after having a grid penalty at the start of the race. Cohen was actually, and WLK's had an off somewhere because Oles has now got ahead of him. So the two boys that were battling with WLK have finally got past. Cohen, brilliant drive from him, making the most of the situation, takes P4, Oles takes P5, WLK takes P6, Justin takes P7, and that is the end of the race, ladies and gentlemen. What a great race in the last half that was. Really, really close racing. Cohen, driver of the day, fully deserved if you ask me, considering where he started on the grid. I think he started P8 or P9 on the grid, and to come through to P4 is pretty good job if you ask me. But Alfa Romeo have 2 drivers on the podium. Renault have 1 driver. And it's a race win for Toby. Great drive from him. Drove a spotless race. Qualified P1 on the grid. Stayed there pretty much throughout the entire race. Never held back. And that is the final pre-season race. The season gets kicked off this Saturday. And that means Toby Tiger takes the win. Doek takes P2, great drive in the Renault. King Will takes P3. Cohen takes P4. Oles takes P5. WLK, after defending for so long, lets Cohen and Oles through, takes P6. Justin P7. EK P8. VFL P9. iFotter 10th. Purple Haze 11th. Nazmat 12th. Mr. Meek 13th. And Pleased did not finish the race. I think he had a crash midway through or something, or a retirement, and did not finish the race. And that is the 14 drivers who finished. It's a great race from everybody, really. Battles across the track, especially in the last half of the race. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. If you'd like to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel to keep up to date with the races. And also, if you'd like to participate in our league, you can do so by clicking on the Discord link below in the description. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Take care.